Yo, what it do? Welcome back to the Mail Mann Show, baby. Where we do what? We think inside the box, we think outside the box, we think around the box, under the box, below the box. I'm sorry, above the box. And what is the box? The world is our box. Because we're going to do any and everything legally that we got to do to be successful and achieve our goals and dreams, baby. We're going to do it to make it happen. Let's jump right into it, man. Let's make this thing happen. So, look, we're going to talk about some business tonight. We're going to talk about business. I be seeing a lot of videos online and they get a perspective of telling people about business and start a business and you should do this and you can become successful, and they glorify it. You have a few videos that kind of give you the real and the raw, but most of the videos are glorifying just you should be your own boss, you should start your own business. I'm gonna teach you in 60 seconds how to make you passive income and you can just make money while you sleeping. Just all these things that they sell you online. And I said, you know what? We finna start making some videos on some business stuff because I've been doing business for over 2 decades. And I have been successful, meaning I'm not rich, but my businesses has paid for my lifestyle. Not me working for nobody else, not doing something on the side. My businesses have paid for my lifestyle. And I have employed people and I have helped people life evolve as well. Not as big as I want to where I can make people millionaires yet, but I have definitely put people in positions to where their life did evolve. Now, I see so many people think that they're going to just jump into a business and that it's just going to be easy. It's just like it's easy. And then I hear people tell me, well, if you do it, I know I can do it. I'm not going to disagree. Yes, you possibly can do it. But that saying is not always true. If they can do it, you can do it. Because if you're not mentally built for this, then you're not going to be able to do it. But before we get into this, before we get deep into this topic, I want to ask y'all if y'all can do me a favor. If y'all can do me a quick silent, man, that'll be amazing. I really appreciate y'all. If y'all want to know what that one quick silent is, it is this.
I hope that you're enjoying the podcast. I just ask one thing. Could you like, subscribe, and follow? Tell a friend. Leave a comment. I'm trying to grow this channel, and I want to grow it with you. Now, let's get back to this entertaining content.
And we right back to this entertaining content, baby. And who's the entertainment? It's your guy, Mail Mann, baby. We right back to it. So let's jump into this, man. Let's talk about some business. Let's get into it. The real spiel about a business. So, business. Is it a good thing to start? Is it a bad thing to start? That question can be taken a lot of different ways. Yes and no. To start a business, yes, and go out here and become successful and become the Elon Musk, the Targets, the Walmart, the big brands, the YouTubes, and all these big corporations that we know about that exist. We would love to be able to get there. And can it happen? It absolutely freaking can happen. I mean, take the guys of YouTube. These guys that created YouTube was not corporate guys. These guys was in school, created something, and then tried to sell it for $1 million. And then I think they even dropped down to like 750,000 sell. I mean, not YouTube. I'm sorry, Google. They went to school and they wasn't no business guys. They tried to sell Google for $1 million, and then I think it was 750,000. So it is absolutely freaking possible. They got it. I think Google is no, it's a high $1 billion company, might be in the trillions. So two guys that came up with an idea that did not come from a rich family, and so now they run a multi-billion, maybe $1 trillion company. That tells you it's possible. So that's without a doubt. Walmart, Sam Walton started out with a storage unit as Walmart. That's what he started out as, Walmart gas. And look at the corporation it is today. And I think Walmart started in 1964. And Sam Walton worked at J.C. Penney's and got fired from J.C. Penney's. And now I don't even know if J.C. Penney's is still around or not. But if it is, Walmart is crushing them. And it started with one of their employees. So, yes, it is definitely possible for you to become successful. But here's the thing about running a business, a successful business, or any business before it becomes successful. There's a lot of struggle. Yes, you can go get that LLC, you can go get that incorporation, you can get that EIN number, you can get that bank account. All those things can get. That's the easy part of the business. You know what the part come in that they don't tell you? If you're doing a service-based business, how are you going to get people to come and do service with you to generate income? If you're doing a landscaping service, if you're doing a pressure washing service or a car detail service or a maid service, you got to get the clientele. So how long and how fast can you get, how long will it take and how fast can you get clientele to start generating income? You know, now what is the overhead cost? What do, or how much is it going to cost you to get this business started? How are you going to fund the money to get it started? Are you going to use credit cards to get it started? Do you have a job you've been working up and you've been saving? You're going to take that savings. You're going to borrow money from a family member. You're going to borrow money from a loan. Like, how are you going to get this money to get this business started? You know, it's a lot of factors into this. And then, how long is it going to take? 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. See, all these things matter. And then you got people that think, well, I can be an online YouTuber, a digital content creator. That ain't easy either. That is a challenge in itself, just like a service provider. Because now you got to say, how am I going to get people to like, subscribe, and follow my channel? How do I get the broad aware, to get the world to be aware, or get enough people to be aware of me existing on this thing that we call the worldwide internet? How do I get, or the World Wide Web? How do I get enough people to start following and supporting my channel to make me grow? That's not easy. You have to understand how people think, how people move, what interests people. You know, it's a lot of moving pieces and parts to this to get you to that level that you want to get to. And if you're not willing to sit down and learn that, then it's going to be a challenge for you to grow. And if you're not willing to be patient for it to pay off, because it could take 5-6 years sometimes for it to pay off. And some people, it didn't pay it off of their first video. But I have heard more people that took years to get it versus that I heard that it took their first video. Some people it took off in 3 months, 6 months to a year. It is still a challenge, just like any other business. If you understand business, then overall you're going to understand the fundamentals of the business does not change. The fundamentals doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the product. And you have to figure out what's the best way to deliver your product to your customer base, your consumers. And if you ain't willing to learn that, how you gonna make money? I'm gonna tell you something with me. So I utilize my businesses that I already have making money, my landscaping, my tree, my junk, my pressure washing company, all my service-based business. I utilize those businesses to generate income. And I take the income from those businesses and I invest it into my entertainment, which would be my record label, my film company, my streaming company, then my apparel company, production company. I take that money from those service-based and I invest that money back into the other business and ventures that I want to expand off into. But it can be challenging sometimes because the money is coming in. You still have overhead costs and expenses with that service-based business, and then you're taking a profit and you're throwing it over here into these businesses. Which for me, I have myself spread so thin because I am pushing multiple businesses at one time. That even if you have $3,000, by the time you break that $3,000 up into 5 different businesses, you ain't really got a lot of money left over to really push. So it takes longer now. And then when you're trying to hire help to push the other businesses that are not generating revenue at the current moment, it becomes a challenge because you want good people to help you build, but they can't wait around for you to generate money. So now you end up losing good help because they still have to pay their bills. They still have to take care of their family. And they can't wait for you to bring your dream to life. It's not something that everybody's going to do. Now, we do have sometimes with people that will ride out with you and believe in you to make it happen. But most time people ain't going to wait around. So now you lose the help that you was hoping to have and you build a plan around to have, but the funds did not work out the way that you thought. Then sometimes you might have a solid, strong plan, but you don't have the money. The funds are not available for you to move fast enough. So you can't move the way that you want to move. Even though you have a solid plan, but you don't have the money. So this, I'm not going to run the video too long because this is a lot that I can talk to y'all about with business. It is a lot. I have, years, like I say, well over 2 decades worth of knowledge that I can just share with y'all. And I'll say this, the strongest piece of business advice that came to me was within the last maybe 2.5 years. That was like the strongest when I got out of starting my business, really doing this business back in 2000 and 2003 or 2002. Starting it in 2002, and I didn't learn the most valuable piece of business to really help me thrive, or I'll say be able to put the other pieces of the puzzle together that I had already collected until 2023 or 2024. And then I really started understanding more of the business and how to become financially stable, more financially stable, to where I can relieve that financial pressure off of myself. So you look at, it took me over 20 years to get something to really have a clear understanding of how to be able to build a financially strong business. Now, some people might get it in 5 years, some people get it in 3, some could get it in 2, but it took me 20 years to be able to get there. Now, I want to show you a different angle as well before I get up out of here. You might see a person that come in and say, oh, their business took off in the first year. But it's more context to that they're not telling you. Their business probably did take off in a year, but they could have worked for another company for 10, 15 years before they finally build up enough confidence to jump out there and do it on their own. So that 15 years of experience that they had got for the beginning of their career is what allowed their business to thrive within 6 months to a year. So it's not like their business just necessarily took off in a year without having any help. It's just that by the time they started the business, they had already put 10, 15 years into something else, or 3, 4, 5 years into something else. They could have been an accountant. They could have been a tax preparer. They could have been a lawyer. They could have been a CEO for a small company. They could have been a CEO for a big company. They could have knew how to secure funding before they even jumped off into the business. It's a lot of moving parts to that success. It's not just I came up with the idea took off a year later. It is not as simple as people sell it to you on the internet. And I'm not here to discourage you. I just want you to understand every element it takes to be successful. So that way you got both sides of what the fence look like. You know what this side of the fence look like. You know what that side of the fence look like. Now you can make a better sound decision. A lot of people get tricked into starting a business. And the reason why I say tricked is because you see these videos, they tell you to go out there to do this, and you get so excited. You got motivation in that moment, and you just run with it, and you go do it. And you spend money, and you don't have a way of getting it back. Now you done put yourself in a financial bind because you listen to this person on YouTube. You bought this course from this person on YouTube that don't have no tangible proof to show that what they're doing is working. Because let me tell you something. Most successful people are not giving away the successful sauce. One, they're too busy. Two, they're not trying to create competition. So most successful people are not giving you the sauce to be successful because they knew how hard it took and how hard it was to get there and how long it took for them to get there. But they have also understood how to sell a hope and dream to you and take that money that you give them for that hope and dream and invest it into what they have learned to become tangible and make more money. And then you have some people that do share some real information with you. And you are able to take that information and build something amazing with it. So when it comes to business, you gotta sit down and really think about what you're getting yourself into, and are you ready to take on that responsibility? See, you see the business, but you don't see the sacrifice. You don't see the struggle. You just hear all of the accolades, but you don't know what it took to build the foundation that business and those accolades are standing on. It ain't easy to build a successful business. There's a lot of challenges and unforeseen factors that you cannot plan for. You have to be ready for it when it happened in the moment, or you have to be able to pivot when it's time to pivot. You got to ask yourself, can you survive long enough to even become successful? It's a lot of things that it takes to be successful. Stop romanticizing about entrepreneurship, because this shit is hard. Man, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. This shit hard. It gets easy when you get help, but when you build it, I ain't gonna sit here and tell you that this shit is. This shit is just gravy. I work harder working for myself than working for anybody that I ever worked for 20-some years ago. But I love what I do, and I understand the benefits of it. So we're gonna keep this thing going about business, because I want to see you be successful, but I want you to have the right and correct knowledge. So I love y'all, man. Let's get up out of here. And hey, I need y'all to go in and check out Now You See Me and get you your hoodies, because it's hoodie season. Go in and pre-order you some dope hoodies. They got a very, very dope system of how they do their pre-orders. It is very, 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 very dope. And it is the communication towards it is amazing. So go get you a hoodie. They sponsor every episode of the Mail Mann Show. y'all look fly for the winter. Get it popping. So I can be like, when I record the videos and y'all post pictures, like, now I see you. Now I see you. Let's get it, baby.